Now, we begin to start talking about the second part of the Germany democracy's dictatorship module. And what that involves is the Great Depression, this period or event in time where Germany changes massively. And the Great Depression begins with the Wall Street crash. The Wall Street crash is all about the stock market. You might not be sure about what the stock market is or how it works, and I want to try and sum it up simply. You might see images of people looking at loads of these green and red numbers, or a graph like the one above me. But what the stock market is essentially people putting bets on companies. They will give companies their money in return for what's called a share of the company's profits. So if they give money to a company, let's say Apple, and Apple makes money, that person, that investor who put the money in, is owed some of the money that Apple has made. And this means you can bet, well, I use the term bet, it means that some people can make lots and lots of money if they choose their company very well. If you invest in a company when it's very new and the share of price is quite low, so you could put, let's say, £100 into a company, let's say a coffee company, and if that company became really successful, let's say it becomes Starbucks or Costa, you could be owed millions of pounds in their profit because you gave them £100 at the start. Now, in the 1920s, during that German Golden Age, America actually was going through quite a golden age as well. You might have heard of the phrase the Roaring Twenties being used to describe this period of time, but really, many American people were rich, or when I say rich, I mean they had a lot of spare money, a lot of savings. The economy had gone really well for the USA. They were the richest country on the planet, and that meant that Americans had money to spare. It meant they were able to spend that money on things that, cars and houses, but a lot of people, quite a lot of Americans, started to invest money into the stock market because they knew that this would be a valuable thing. This would be something they could make more money off of, and people still do that to this day. However, the stock market is a betting game, and that does mean that things can go wrong. You can lose out in the betting game. Do you see the graph above me? The point at which we say the stock price, when lots of people are investing in it, turns and starts to go downwards, means that the share is worth less, and it means basically people start to sell their stocks really quickly. And the Wall Street crash was when suddenly pretty much everyone in the USA began to sell their stock. A variety of issues and problems caused the value of shares to go down to almost nothing, which meant that all these people in the USA, companies, businesses, governments that put money into the stock market, saw a loss. Rather than making money, they now suddenly owed money, and it meant that they were in a lot of debt suddenly. Within the space of a day or two, America went from one of the richest countries in the world to being one of the poorest. And what that meant is that the USA couldn't fund the rest of the world like it had been doing for the last 10, 20 years. They couldn't buy products from companies such as Britain, France, Germany. And that also meant that loans that the USA's banks had been giving out to the world were also not able to be given anymore. In fact, they'd be demanding that money back. This Wall Street crash began a period called the Great Depression, where the world saw, well, a massive period of low growth and low progress. People becoming much poorer because the USA essentially had a breakdown. For just this video, if you want to really revise this topic, I think you need to know the answers to these 4 questions. 1, how does the stock market work? 2, why were Americans putting their money into the stock market? 3, what caused the crash? And then what does that crash mean for the rest of the world? If you know the answers to those questions, you've effectively revised this topic. Feel free to check the textbook pages and come back to this if you need to. All right, good luck.